world. This is my first ever Flosstube. I watch a lot of it, but I'm not really like in the community. So I thought, I've been lurking for long enough, maybe it's time to come out of my little goblin cave and actually interact with some people, because it's fun talking about things with other people who also do those things. So I thought I would start off, I will show you some like actual cross stitch, but I thought I'd start off with a little story because I like storytelling. What I wanted to show you I actually couldn't find, so I will try and find that for hopefully future videos if the internet doesn't hate my face too much. So I thought I'd show you this, which is kind of related to how I got into crafts and cross stitching, and I knit and spin and sew and weave as well. So basically anything textile related I'm down. So I'm kind of the only crafty one in the family, I guess. I mean, my family are all pretty creative, but my granny was the one who did the textile stuff. And I didn't really get to know her because she passed away when I was a baby. But apparently it's kind of in the blood or something, because I'm all about those crafts. And so I wanted to show you this, which is a quilt which we've had on the sofa for as long as I can remember. And one day I remembered to ask about it. And it turns out that this is a quilt that was handmade by my granny. Her name was Betty, which I have her sewing machine actually, and the sewing machine is called Betty after her. Because naming things is fun. So this is a quilt that was handmade by my granny, and it's all entirely hand sewn and hand quilted, which I never realised before, but then I learned about like quilting, and like, it's incredible. Can you see those tiny stitches there? It's a little bit worse for wear after many years of like household use, but we use it and we love it, which is the point of handmade items, right? Nothing lasts forever, but you can love it until it's gone, I guess. So yeah, let's not get in too deep. But I just think this is beautiful. I've looked up this design. I think it's called wedding rings or something. Or double wedding ring. I'm not sure. But it's absolutely glorious. And she made this all by hand sewing. And she didn't really, I've got some embroidery which she did, which is what I wanted to show you, which she did together with my granddad, who also did embroidery. And they used to do it together, which is adorable. But I think that was made earlier on when they first met, and she, like when she made this kind of stuff, she didn't really have time to do embroidery because my grandparents ran a horticultural nursery, growing fruit and flowers to send to market in London. And she worked on the nursery and did the accounts and like cleaned the house and did the cooking. So I don't think she had a lot of time for embroidery, but she did enjoy patchwork and quilting. So that's one of the things that she made. Okay, cross stitch things. Oh gosh, when I was taking out all my stuff to show, I kind of realised how much I have that's like in progress. Oh yeah, there it is. Finishes, not many. I don't really do finishing much. I have too many projects of everything. Like, you should see how many missing like whips I have, and crochet, and like my boyfriend recently made me an inkle loom, which I'll also show you if anyone's interested, but that's my new toy. So yeah, this is something I finished quite a long time ago when I was about 14, I think. That's when I was last into cross stitch, and then I didn't cross stitch for ages. And then I picked it back up earlier this year. But this is one of the first things I made. I actually managed to finish. I'm more about the process, but it's fun to finish things when you can. I think maybe that's something I should work on. Yeah, this is really pretty. This was from a magazine. I can't remember which one, but I used to occasionally get them. And I somehow managed to finish this. I didn't really know about washing it or about how to prevent the hoop getting marks on the fabric. So there's a mark there. I'll have to like go back and try and fix that. And I want to maybe put a name or some family names in the middle because I feel like it looks a little bit bland. But yeah, I think it's really pretty. I love the apples. Apples are kind of a thing in my family because, as I said, my grandparents ran an orchard, and we've got a few apple trees in the garden. And my mum's like some kind of regional apple expert. So yeah, and also they're very symbolic. I kind of like the apple symbolism. I studied archaeology for my first degree, and we did a module on the domestication of plants and animals and looked at apples. And apparently all apples are descended from the apple trees in this forest in Kazakhstan that are like massively diverse, and you can eat them off the tree. And like, I don't know, it's incredible. There's a documentary about it. I forgot what the name is, but I'll put it in the description if I can remember. So anyway, apples, and my mum frames them, which is cute. So that's the thing I actually finished. Sorry, I don't have a great recording set up, so you'll have to excuse like my space cat bed sheets. Actually, they're catstronauts. And then this is one I finished recently, which is a tiny little fox in a jar, and I love it so much. He's so cute. I really wanted to try out perforated paper because I saw some people using it on Flosstube and it looked really fun, and I wanted to make some decorations for my room because this is like, I'm kind of in a little tiny studio flat type situation here, and it's a bit cluttered because I have sort of not really lived anywhere for that long in the past few years, and I've lived abroad in a couple of places, and all my stuff was kind of here at my parents' and kind of boxed up, and it's still boxed up because I don't have that much space. And anyway, I wanted to make some cute decorations, and this is the first one. I'm going to try and like string them up, maybe make a little garland thing. It's I think it's from Max Stitch on Etsy, the pattern. It's real cute. I had some fun trying to work out how to do French knots on perforated paper, but it works out, I think. Maybe, hopefully. Sorry if I talk a lot. I kind of ramble. But you know, some people like that. Current projects. So I have a couple that I kind of started because I like to have different things on the go. I have a very short attention span. A couple that I started before I kind of really got back into cross stitch were this one, which I think I got, I don't know, I cannot remember, but it's the Water Lily Pond by Monet in cross stitch form, and I kind of went off it for a while. I can't remember why. I didn't do that much on it. Yeah, only like this much, and then for some reason I stopped doing that, but I guess I should finish it. Yeah, it's quite nice. That's apparently made by the National Gallery. And this one, which I got at Harrogate Knitting and Stitching Show. I was in the Knitting Society at university because I was cool, obviously. And we did a trip to the Harrogate Knitting and Stitching Show one year. and I wanted to try Hardanger because I've always been quite interested in different embroidery styles. And so I got, let me find the page, the picture of it. This kit to try is by Loopy Loo Designs. It's called the Whispers of Love sampler. Yeah, the colours aren't really my thing, but they look a lot better in real life. And I wanted to try out the technique, and I thought once I figure it out, I can always change the colours if I want to do something else. So that's what it's supposed to look like. And that's what I've done so far. I haven't got up to the cutting the thread stage yet, which I'm quite terrified of. But I'm loving all these little stitches here. I can't remember what they're called, but this like little star thing, and these, I think they're Algerian eyelets or some kind of eyelet. They're pretty. I haven't worked on that for ages. I'll have to do a thing. I kind of want to eventually make a skirt with some like Hardanger bands around it in really sort of bright modern colours. Which brings me on to things that I started this year, which is many. The first one was, oh, by the way, this isn't going to be entirely safe for work. If you've got kids in the room, there might be the occasional word not used in polite society. So I kind of got back into cross-stitching because of Shitpost Sampler, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a Tumblr blog, and they do like really snarky cross-stitch patterns or cross-stitch patterns based on like Tumblr shitposts. And they're hilarious. And I was just like, oh yeah, I used to do that. I think I have some supplies, and I did. So I just like started one. So this is the first one I started, which is a present for my friend. And it says, or it will say, when I want your opinion, I'll read it in your entrails. And there's this lovely raven. And I love this black work on it. This beautiful black work pattern. I really enjoy black work. I'm kind of into that Tudor aesthetic. So I think that's great. And I love the effect when it's in like bright colours as well. I think it's a very kind of modern historical integration. So I'm going to finish that hopefully soon and give it to my friend, because she said, I remember her saying to me once, if I had a penny for every time someone gave me their opinion, which I didn't ask for, I wish I had like a badge that just said, if I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. So I thought she would enjoy this. When I want your opinion, I'll read it in your entrails. Then I thought, I have another friend who has a birthday, and when I say coming up, it's in December. That's how long it takes me to do things. Which I haven't done much on, but it's another one from Shitpost Sampler. I'll put a link to their patterns underneath because they're amazing. They're all pay what you want, which is great. So this is Cat Beauty Routine, and I haven't done much of it yet, but it will say Morning Beauty or Morning Beauty Routine across the top. And then in the middle it says like, Morning Beauty Routine, awaken whenever I want, stretch, scream if necessary, appreciate myself exactly as I am, which is very cat. And also like a very good, personal motto to have. So, and there's a cat. But I decided to make it kind of a golden tabby cat. and there will be flowers and general cross-stitchy traditional things. Sounds pretty. More whips. Oh, there are more. I then thought I was ready to tackle something big because I love a big project. This may have been my ultimate hubris because I decided I was going to do Death by Cross Stitch, and then I decided, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound, if I'm going to do it, I'll do it on 40 count 1/2 using silk. So I'm doing it on 40 count natural linen. I think it's this I got. And this is my Death by Cross Stitch. And I love it so much. It's amazing. Oh, it's so good. Whenever I work on this, I feel like a Victorian schoolgirl, just like sitting in a country house somewhere, making her sampler. So yeah, Death by Cross Stitch, Long Dog samplers. I absolutely love her designs. They're beautiful and they're so intricate, and it's so tiny. I'm worried it's a bit too tiny because on this motif here, I tried to do the back stitch that's suggested in the pattern, but you can't, with the back stitch on, you can't really see the actual motif. So I'm gonna try, I don't know, I'm gonna do the next one without and see what it looks like. But I'm really pleased with it. I love it so much. Actually, if anyone's interested in the history of samplers, I am one half of a podcast called Bread and Thread, which is about food and domestic history, which I do with my friend Liz. So we've done an episode on samplers, on embroidery samplers, and there's some really interesting stuff that is buried down in that well of history. Is that an appropriate metaphor? Yeah, part of the reason I'm doing this is to get better at public speaking, because I do storytelling and I tend to do, you know, the thing where I like blah 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 and no one can grasp what I've tried to say. So next thing, I wanted to try out some kits, so I got this off Tinternet. It is Mereshka, or Mereshka, I think it's Mereshka. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Eastern European. I think they're a Ukrainian company, or Polish. It says made in Poland, but I think they're somewhere else. Anyway, it's an Eastern European company, and I just really love these kits. Like they're really beautiful. There's something about them. I think it's the way they do the shading and the back stitching, and like it just looks really good. And a lot of the stuff they do is kind of traditional, but it looks really good. And they've got some fantastic ones as well. In fact, I've got another one which I will show you, which is great. But this is the first one I got. It's Vintage Roses by Mereshka, and it's so pretty. It just reminded me of the roses that my granddad used to grow in his garden. And I'm not usually a floral person, but these are just so pretty. They kind of leap out of the page or the fabric at you. So, and they come on these kind of useful bobbin card things, which I've fully messed up, but hey ho. And here it is. And I think it looks great. I love it. Just the colours, they're so pretty. And I can't wait to do some back stitching. I'm going to back stitch as I go because ain't nobody got time for doing it all at the end. It's beautiful. Which brings me on to my first full coverage piece, which I've got, you know, kind of into them, I would say. You know, there's a lot that I want to do. They are a bit terrifying, but what is life without challenge? So this is a Gecko Rouge kit. It's my first one. I'm very excited. It is the Robin by Lorna Lane. It's glorious. There's a little family of robins in the garden, so I thought I would make this, and I love the kind of bright, really modern, like tattoo kind of style of it. It's gorgeous. And this is how far I am. Not very far. I mean, it's not a massive design, but I'm quite slow. I like to take my time and just enjoy it. So that's where I am. The light is terrible today. I apologise. It's very rainy. But I started the Robin the other day, and I just wanted to go over and do it because I wanted to get his beady little eye in. Exciting times. And the pattern for this is a bit terrifying, but fortunately it's printed really well. Quick flash. So it's not difficult to read, and their symbols are a good size, but there's just a lot of them, you know? There's a lot of them. And I didn't really like this fabric at first that they give you in the kit. It's a 25 count magic guide from DMC, I think. And it's quite stiff. It's a bit canvas-like. But having actually worked on it, I really like it for this kind of design because it gives more of a kind of structure to your stitches. And it's kind of a better foundation for them, being like tiny stitches very close together. So yeah, I actually kind of like that now. And it makes them look very neat, which is good because I need that. Okay, my first Heaven and Earth design, which I've kind of been watching them for many years, since I was a teen, TM. And I tried to do one many years ago. It didn't really work out because it was massive and I didn't really know what I was in for. I don't think I even finished a page. So I kind of decided to call that a day, and I started a story keep, which is probably a bit more on my level. And it's the key. I'll try and put a picture in here if I can technological wizardry myself enough to do that. So this is what it looks like so far. It doesn't really look like anything yet, but that's the beginning of the key. And I'm using Pattern Keeper for this, which is really useful. Just on my phone, but it still works. Still good, still good. Yeah. Now I'm using the CXC threads because otherwise I couldn't afford to do Heaven and Earth Designs pieces. But you know, they're all right. I thought I'd try them out. And they're pretty good, actually. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I haven't worked on it in a while. Need to get back to it. So tiny, so tiny. But I discovered pin stitching, which is very helpful for like the massive confetti areas. Otherwise my back ends up just like this. Oh, it's the last one. And this is one of my favorites. I mean, they're all my favorites, obviously, because that's how it goes. But this one, are you ready for this? This is like one of the best cross stitch designs I have ever seen in my entire life. it's another Merezhka. It's just this kind of weird ass cat in playing the bagpipes in this massive hat, and there's like a small town that's tied to the moon, and the cat, did I mention the cat is also the night sky? And like there's just so much going on in this picture. And I love it. Like, it's so weird, and that is my jam. And I would love to know if there's some kind of story behind this, if it's like from Eastern European folklore, or if it's just like a picture. I don't know, it's got this weird dreamlike quality to it. Like, if anyone's ever played the game Dixit, it's kind of like that, you know, they've got these cards that are this weird dreamlike artwork. So yeah, he's very strange and very cool, and I kind of want to live in this little town and hear what he's playing on the bagpipes. It's got, I don't know if I said, but it's called The Old Melody. So yeah, would recommend. I'm really enjoying these kits. What's this that I have tied? Oh, it's one of my headers from the Inkle Loom. Okay, here we go. Have not got very far, but enjoying what I have so far. Hopefully going to do some backstitching that will make this little bird kind of appear. Because did I mention there are tiny little birds nesting in the hat? It's just every time you look at this, there's something new, and man, I want this on my wall. Very cool. Very weird. Stay weird, friends. Quite a large chart. Pretty difficult. For me, anyway. I'm not like the Chuck Norris of cross stitch, like some people I see on here are. I aspire to be one day, maybe, but I think I just have too many interests and not enough of an attention span to properly commit myself to any one craft. Oh, there's one more I forgot. I didn't see it because it's on the floor, which is a good metaphor for my emotional state right now. But this is actually my oldest cross stitch whip that I started in my first year of university. I still haven't finished because I went for a while of not cross stitching. It's on my scroll frame because I stitch a lot of things in hand. I also use hoop, scroll frame, whatever I feel like fits. So I'm not going to take it off because effort. But this is the beautiful orangey conversion of Celtic Autumn by Lavender and Lace. And I've done the top part mostly with like her face, and I've done the autumn bit. There's a lot of people who have done this. I've seen it a couple of times all around the blogger sphere internet thing. She's just so beautiful. I keep forgetting about her, and then I see someone else like do one of the Celtic ladies, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have one of those. I should do that. And then I don't. But I'll finish her eventually. And yeah, I'm just gonna take a minute to appreciate that. The fabric you probably can't see properly, but this was the first hand-dyed fabric I ever bought. It was from Sparkly's UK hand dyer. Again, Harrogate Knitting and Stitching Show. Would recommend. They also do one in London, which I went to last year with a friend, and we had the time of our lives, just crafts. She is an amazing embroiderer. She's Luna Embroidery. I will, chuck you her way. So autumnal. So pretty. My taste has changed a little bit since I started this. I don't know if it's something that I would choose now. But I still like it. Like, I will still enjoy stitching it very much, whether or not I end up keeping it. And I don't mind that. Like, some things that I want to stitch and I feel like I would enjoy making are not necessarily things that I would decorate my house with. But that's okay because I don't have a lot of wall space in here anyway, so I'm quite happy to enjoy making something and then give it away. So we'll see. I don't know. I might love it when this is done. And I'm really excited to put the beads on as well. And that is the last one. So, yeah, thanks lads, I guess. And I will hopefully carry on watching some of you. I hope you enjoyed the rambling. And maybe I'll make another one if I haven't been driven back into my cave of regret by the internet.